We're going to do story time today. You know it's tonight. Get this in here. Story time is where I tell a story to you that's short. And this story today is dealing with Bill's trip to the state fair. As a matter of fact, every year he's went to the state fair ever since he can remember, for as long as ever since he was 13 years of age. And Bill always loved the state fair when it came into town. Had candy, cotton candy, pig toss, Italian sausage, funnel cakes, waffle cones, the whole 9 yards. Again, it's the games, the smell of cotton candy in the air, all the rides and all the haunted houses and everything you could find, including exotic wallets that you could find to buy that were made with real rawhide. That's leather, that is. Or crocodile skin, at least they said. Some of the stuff probably was imitation, though. But, of course, you could go to the state fair and meet up with all kinds of people and even make friends. As a matter of fact, this is where Bill met his girlfriend, which turned out to be the love of his life. Now that he's 21 years old, he went to the state fair one day. And, he's always been an avid observer of the state fair. Because when he went, he saw this machine that was by itself. And it wasn't even plugged in, but yet it seemed to work on electricity. But the wire was just laying on the ground right beside it. Wasn't even plugged into a socket. He looked around to see if there was any rigs and all, see if there was something going on. But this was a fortune teller machine. So he put his 50-cent piece in. He said, I'll get a crack. He put it in there, and the money went in. The quarter went right through, the 50 cents went right through the man's mouth. And it looked like a frightening creature with glowing red eyes. And it said, make a wish on the back of the card. So he made a wish. And he wished that he would get $1 million somehow. So the next day, Lord behold, it was like any other day. He was like, all psyched up and saying like, oh, this ain't going to happen because, it's just rubbish. I mean, it's just a game, right? Well, Lord behold, he received a letter in the mail. There was a check in it. He frantically opened it. He didn't know what it was from, but it was just written to him. And it said for $1 million. He couldn't believe it either, to his astonishment. So he sort of frantically is this real? This can't be real. I mean, I just went to that stupid fair last night and wished for $1 million to come to me somehow. And all of a sudden the next day he got a check. So he looked to see if it was from his employer, and it wasn't. He seen if it was from someone that owed him money for maybe doing some work for him on the side, but not $1 million. He's done some investing, but it wasn't from that. So he called the bank and had him do a check on the check. They sent it off in a week just to make sure if it was legit. And it turned out to be that it was legit. It turned out to be that it was good because the money that was on that check was valid. So, of course, he deposited with great hesitation and prayer. Bill put it hesitantly and cautiously into his business account. A little leery-eyed as he heard of scams. But this was no scam because the money was there for a few weeks. He didn't touch it. He had it separated into a separate account. Matter of fact, he opened up what is called a crown account at the bank where it was separate from his regular business account. So if anything happened to it, if money came out of there and something were to happen, it wouldn't affect all his other accounts, which is smart to do. So he went in his case. So that's what he did. And no, the money stayed there. Every bit, every cent was there. It was $1 million. So he went to the bank and he cashed it out. He was reluctant. I don't know if I should spend this. He was shaking in his knees. Am I doing something wrong? Is this illegal? Where did this money come from? He's saying to himself. But he frantically said, no, I'll go spend it. It has my name on it. It has my address on it. It was addressed to me. So he didn't think there was anything of it. So he went and spent the money. He invested in some ventures on Wall Street, which turned out to be really well. And he made more money. And he also started his own business. And his business grew like hotcakes because he had the money to advertise. He had the money for collateral. He was able to pay all his bills off, get everything caught up, get out of debt. And he was able to get everything right, and his wife and all were living happily ever after, like the fairy tale that they always wanted to have a life free of worrying without having to worry about bills. If something were to come up, they had the bills to cover it. The money, the funds to cover it available that are there to cover. So Bill, was excited. Money was coming in the bank. Everything was good. No bad things happening to him. But, he still continued to go to the state fair. But the next year that he went to go back to that machine, to see what was there, just to see, for curiosity's sake. He's 25 now. He went there, and the machine, just as miraculously of 1 year it was there, all the years he's been going since 13 years of age, like I said earlier, was not there this year. So his heart kind of sank. He was going to see if he could wish for another wish. Not for $1 million, but for something else. But the machine was not there. But he still continued to look anxiously for years, even after that day where he had a brush with luck, where some mysterious check arrived at his doorstep. Being worth, it was legit, and it was an honest check for $1 million. And still wondering where it came from to this very day. Where do you think that check came from? Do you think that could happen in your life? It's possible that you could have a back settlement, or you could have some kind of prize that you may have won and maybe never claimed it, and somehow they found your address and mailed it to you. Or it could just be where someone just felt like leaving you money. That could happen too. And you're not even the family, but something you did or said to them when you're alive moved them so much that they left you money because of what you did for their family member or for their family, that they felt like they wanted to do something back to show their gratitude. You never know, that could happen to you. But that's my short story today. I hope you enjoyed it. Where Bill goes to the state fair and wishes for $1 million. You never know. You might wish, and that might and could happen to you too. See you later. Make sure you tune in next week for another mystery and adventurous story. Who knows? Only I know. So just stay tuned. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.